Okay, done. Yes, Prabhuji. Prana Chaitanya Prabhu, start.
Hare Krishna. Introduction, summary of chapter number 6, which is Dhyana Yoga, a link to the previous chapter. So in chapter 5, we saw Lord Krishna has described in great detail the process of Nishkama Karma Yoga to achieve liberation. And towards the end of the chapter, text 5:27 and 28, Lord Krishna talks about Ashtanga Yoga. He gives a prelude to Ashtanga Yoga. So in this particular chapter number 6, Lord Krishna is describing again in great detail about Ashtanga Yoga as a means to control the mind and senses. However, the prerequisite for practicing this Ashtanga Yoga system still remains the Nishkama Karma Yoga, what we discussed in the previous chapter. And conclusion of this chapter is Lord Krishna is discussing the great details of Ashtanga Yoga to make us realize the difficulties in following this particular process, particular path. And therefore, the conclusion is one should reject it in favor of practicing the Bhakti Yoga principles. And yes, please.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, Prabhuji, everything is nice. Little stronger voice will be better. Yes, he's a soft-spoken person, Pramodji. Okay, so this has come to previous one. So we understand on the ladder of yoga, how does it come? First, we can think about a person who is not interested in spiritual life at all. Okay, and that is bhogi. Then better than bhogi is yogi. Among the yogi, the different steps are there. There is one yoga ladder of karma, where he's karma yoga, where he's working and the results is offered to the Lord. And the next one is Gyana, where he's cultivating some knowledge of the Lord. And once you hear that, yes, you're convinced that God is there, then next is you're concluded through your philosophy and argument understanding. Karma yoga purifies the mind. Nishkama karma yoga can be divided into two parts, sakama, nishkama. Sakama means you are working, but you have still strong desires and material enjoyment. Nishkama means you're working without as a matter of duty, which is a sign of Sattva-guna. And coming to Jnana Yoga, there a person is concluding, yes, the gods exist, and now he wants to see him face to face. So in a yoga ladder, actually, Ashtanga Yoga will come after Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. Okay? And therefore, this is the next step. And Krishna brings this question, this comes very seriously, that why does Krishna at all talk about Ashtanga Yoga or Gyan Yoga or Karma Yoga when we are only supposed to do Bhakti Yoga? Correct? Who has the answer for this?
Prabhuji, can I give a general answer on this?
Yeah, general. You just meditate on this.
Yes.
This question definitely comes, isn't it, Murali?
Yes.
That we
in
ISKCON don't recommend Ashtanga Yoga, but it is the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
Correct? How do you reconcile?
Yes. Prabhuji, there are various paths to the Lord to achieving transcendentality. Yes. And Krishna also described this in Bhagavad Gita also. Yes, where is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, where in the Karma Yoga and where you just mentioned Nishkama Karma Yoga and Sakama Karma Yoga are there. Yeah, they are also paths to the Lord. Yes. Then in the Jnana Yoga, there are again two types of Jnanas, Apara Jnana and Para Jnana, and all these things. Apara Jnana is more knowing what the Lord is, how to achieve the God, and how do you do it step by step. And of course, in all these processes, there is also Dhyana Yoga, wherein one is supposed to do a certain set of principles and lives. All these finally take you to the Lord. But then, the other three are difficult processes. So therefore, Bhakti is being preferred, and that's where Krishna is given emphasis on. He did not kind of say that, others are bad as well. He said there are also paths, because paths to the Lord, there are many.
Yeah. Then you see what happens. It's like, okay, anybody else? I'll add my comment later.
Lord being Rishikesha, he knows, our senses. So he knows that as a human being, we are inquisitive, we are curious always. If you simply say somebody chant Hare Krishna, He will not that much interested. But if you compare it with other things and then you say, okay, this is the best, then we understand, okay, yeah. So we always require a comparative study to go through in one favor. So I think that was the reason why Krishna, described so many yogas, and then he said that the Bhakti Yoga is the best, so that to understand in a better way.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Anybody else?
Can I try, Prabhu?
Yeah, Manisha Mataji, yes.
One thing I remember from this chapter 6 was that anyways, when we do Dhyana Yoga and then meditate on Dhyana Yoga, then automatically we are moving towards the meditative mode of Dhyana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. And as we get better and better at it, and as we start controlling our senses more and more effectively, then anyways that path leads to Bhakti Yoga. So logically speaking, Bhakti Yoga is still the aim of a final aim or final goal.
Fantastic. Anybody else? Chalo. So this becomes, if I can locate a presentation. I've not taken a class on level 1 for such a long time. I don't know whether I have presentations with me. Yeah, day 6.
Shall I stop sharing, Prabhuji? You want to share?
Let it be there, but okay. Make me co-host, Janaki Mataji. Sorry, we shuffled host, co-host. So Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. Now in this, there is somewhere, do we see a ladder? Here it is. Okay. Now, what happens? I told you one way of going up. Mala, you are a bhogi, you are doing sense enjoyment. Better than that, you take activities and connect the activities to the Lord. That's how we all started our spiritual life. We started with doing some service in the temple, offering some donation, something. We are working still. We are still absorbed in material ambitions, material desires. So everybody begins at this stage, karma yoga. Okay. Then as the mind becomes, this is one way of looking at it. Different dimensions are there. I'm giving a simple dimension. Otherwise, even karma yoga can be qualified as bhakti yoga, but I'm putting in this way. Now, as the mind becomes calm because of certain kind of sacrifice involved, and some Lord is yoga has started, connection to the Lord is involved. It's not karma bhoga is different from karma yoga. Karma bhoga means I'm acting and getting the money and enjoying. Karma yoga is better, where you are actually karma yoga vishishyate. You are actually using some effort to glorification of the Lord. Then as the mind becomes purified, the 3rd chapter karma yoga, 4th chapter went into Gyana yoga. We're trying to understand spiritual transcendental knowledge. That was the Gyana yoga. And as the transcendental knowledge fructifies in the heart, person now concludes, yes, God exists. Now he wants to see him. That is Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga, he goes to see the Lord face to face in the forest. Ashtanga Yogi does tapasya and finally samadhi and sees the Lord face to face. When you see the Lord face to face, you fall at his feet. That is Bhakti Yoga. Now come reverse. Reverse is, if you look yoga, yoga actually means Bhakti Yoga. Yoga means linking to the Lord. It's the strongest link is Bhakti Yoga. But when there are some fruitive desires, there is some desire for material enjoyment, that becomes known as karma yoga. So instead of saying there are many paths, path is one, but we are going to different degrees in the path. You cannot reach the Lord without Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Krishna declares in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Only by devotion you can know me. You cannot know me in any other way. But these yogas become a path to that. So different yogas are taking to different length. But culmination is Shuddha Bhakti. Unless you achieve Shuddha Bhakti, forget it. You're not going to see the personality God or Bhagavan. You can see some light or something, but not the Lord face to face. For seeing the Lord face to face, you have to become a pure devotee like Arjuna or Queen Kunti. Then you will see. Krishna doesn't reveal himself unless Raham Prakasha Sarvasya. He is not revealed to everybody. It's only revealed to Bhakta. And neither we can handle no. When Krishna personally appeared, you see the demons could not appreciate his presence. They were attacking him. So we may not attack him, but we will not be totally able to participate in his. What do you do when you see the Lord? You have to serve him. No? You are his Dasa Baba. But unless Bhakti is there, what is the use? Lord will not come in front of you because you will not serve him. You will rather try to exploit him. And Krishna, no gentleman agrees to be exploited. So Krishna is not visible. Like people go to temple and they may offer some worship and continue with the material activities, Karma Yoga. They are not seeing, they are not able to communicate with the Lord face to face. That is Bhakti Yoga. And then next is Jnana Yoga. There is more purification, understanding is there, but he is not able to see. Ashtanga Yoga, he goes to see the Lord face to face. Now, if somebody not having a goal to see the Lord face to face, he is wasting his time in Ashtanga Yoga. Now, most of the spiritual society that teaching some version of Ashtanga Yoga without the goal of seeing the Lord face to face. Personality God face to face. Even though we will read now in this chapter, Krishna says, Machita, Matagata Prada. 3 times he says, focus on me in Ashtanga Yoga. In this chapter, we will see. And therefore, so if you go reverse from Bhakti Yoga, when somebody is attached to fruit, see, Karma Yogi should advance and reach Bhakti Yoga, but they may get stuck there. So when somebody gets stuck to material desires and material fruits, he remains at Karma Yoga. He doesn't advance more. When somebody gets attached to his muni, he has some opinions, some ideas, he's very attached to the opinion and ideas, but actually not ready to see what the scripture is saying, he becomes a Gyana Yogi. Okay? There is some element of enjoyment of Jnana, not connected to service to Krishna. There is some element of enjoyment of karma, not connected to devotion service, person gets stuck. Therefore, Shuddha Bhakti means Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. There is a shloka, Anyavilashita Shunyam, Shuddha Bhakti definition. There is no other aspiration. Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, free from Jnana and Karma, means any Jnana and Karma which is not used for devotion service is free from that. Okay? And Ashtanga yogis sometimes may get attracted to some siddhis. We had some people who had some siddhi, I don't know whether they had, but they were trying to show some siddhi, throwing shaligram from their mouth and throwing ash from their hat, or making honey drop from their picture. Then they get more attracted. Sometimes they may become, may not, but may become yoga brashta, becoming too much only enamored by that siddhi and their followers along with that, and they don't proceed on the path of Shuddha Bhakti. So when we are saying Bhakti here, we are talking about Shuddha Bhakti, because Karma Yoga is also Bhakta. He's offering his hard-earned money to the Lord. Jnana Yoga is also Bhakta. He's reading about the Lord. Ashtanga Yoga is also Bhakta. He's meditating on the Lord. So Bhakti Yoga means Shuddha Bhakta. Now, because we are not Shuddha Bhakta, we can analyze ourselves, just like in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a chapter on Sattva Guna, Raja Guna, Tama Guna. Now, your question is, why do we study that chapter at all? Because we are interested in the spiritual world. But fact is, we are not Shuddha Bhaktas. We are presently still affected by Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Sattva-guna. In the same way, even in ISKCON, I tell you, honestly speaking, we are still not doing Bhakti Yoga, we are doing Karma Yoga. Even as full-time members, because still there is desire for mental enjoyment, still there is some Jnana Yoga, some speculation going on. So we can still understand, even though we are a shelter of a pure devotee, great Acharya, we are on the path of Shuddha Bhakti, agreed. But still, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam has not totally happened. And there is some attached, particularly for people who work. Even this, I am talking about devotees in the temple. When I see devotees, I always give them engagement based on their guna. Correct? Now, Shuddha Bhakti is beyond all this Varnashram. Everything has gone over. Shuddha Bhakti is very advanced. I think many of you know that various ladders we have made. Correct? This is just one, various parallel ladders we created. So Shuddha Bhakti path, the Sadhana Bhakti and then Ragano Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti. Where is your Varnashram? Where is that? All is gone. But we are not above that. We are still attached, connected. So therefore, when all the yogas are there, in reference to Bhakti Yoga, we can still see there is some attraction sometimes to some siddhis. There is some attraction to some knowledge, which has nothing to do with pure devoted service to Krishna. There is an attachment to activities, which I am very much attached to, but I'm very proud. I'm a great engineer. I'm a great doctor. I'm a great manager. Then that's not Shuddha Bhakti. That is Karma Yoga. So if you want to qualify Bhakti Yoga as Shuddha Bhakti, then these are slight. Ashtanga Yogi may be having some power, trying to have some power, control, some siddhi. Gyan Yoga, some some academic knowledge stuff, which has nothing yielding in pure devotion to the Lord, nothing to do with service to Krishna. And Karma Yoga being attached to some activities and some pride in those, what you are earning out of that, fruit, attachment to fruit. So I think I can see in that perspective. I think good. Now we proceed.
Yes, sir.
Chalo Prabhuji, now you take over, come back. Hello.
Yes.
Sorry for interrupting you, but I thought in perspective, there's a question always comes to the mind. Yeah.
In the first section of chapter number 6, advancing in yoga through detachment, through detached work. So, as we discussed in the previous slide, Ashtanga Yoga has a prerequisite in terms of being sufficiently purified through the Nishkama Karma Yoga process. So, the true renunciation is manifested in the form of detachment from possessiveness and enjoying propensities, and not necessarily in cessation of the activities. So, Ashtanga Yogi still needs to perform the activities and not give up the activities. What needs to be given up is the possessive mentality and propensity to enjoy the results of those activities. Whereas in Krishna consciousness, this ultimate plane of plane of giving up the selfishness is automatically achieved, because the devotee desires the satisfaction of the senses of Lord Krishna rather than gratifying one's own senses.
Yes. Continue. So the Karma Tyaga, Karma Yoga, Vishishyate. We don't have to give up work, we have to give up the result of the work. Anna?
So text number first of this chapter.
You know that famous saying, Chodna nahi, jodna hai.
Yes. So this is again a famous verse from Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna is explaining the criteria for one who is a true yogi, who is a real yogi, and who is a real sannyasi. So here Lord Krishna explains Ashtanga Yoga, as the name suggests. Yoga means to link oneself with the Supreme. So Ashtanga Yoga is the means to connect with the Supreme by controlling one's mind and the senses, and is very difficult to practice, especially in this particular age. And one who desires to practice Ashtanga Yoga is not recommended to suddenly abruptly give up one's activities, because these activities are needed to purify one's heart. Only after that one can achieve the control of the mind and senses. And since a karma yogi has already renounced the results of his actions, he is automatically understood to be a sannyasi. And because his mind does not dwell on the sense object because of his engagement in devotional service, he is also automatically becomes a yogi. So, criteria of a person in Krishna consciousness. This is taken directly from the purport. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, a Krishna conscious person has no desire for self-satisfaction. His criteria of success is the satisfaction of Krishna, and thus he is already a perfect sannyasi or a perfect yogi. And to support this point, Srila Prabhupada quotes the verse from Shishtashtakam, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, 4th verse of Shishtashtakam, which states, Nadhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kalmahi mama janmani janmanishwari bhavatar bhaktir ahetuki tvai. Which means, oh my Lord, I do not desire wealth, I do not desire any number of followers, or I do not desire beautiful women. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
That's what I'm telling teachers. We got only 20 people, but it's a najana. You should not desire followers. Actually, we are doing devotion service today. It is Karma Mission Bhakti. It is Mission Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti is so powerful. You wake up the Lord. Krishna is always awake, but you shake him. Shuddha Bhakta, when he calls out Krishna, Krishna gets shaken up. See, Hanumanji, okay, you know pure Bhakta Hanumanji. When he says Ram, Lord Rama's heart shakes him now. But we say Ram, we are not, because it is not Shuddha Bhakti, it is Mission. So pure devotees call prayer to the Lord is very intense and very pleasing to the Lord. So because it is Mishrit, it does not really touch the Lord of the heart. And to become Shuddha Bhakta, these are all very advanced criteria. And presently it is good to hear, a long way to come out of that. Na dhanam, I don't want money. Now, how many of you say we don't want money? How many are ready for that? Yes. Mataji is ready.
Oh my God, who's this?
Mute. So now that people. So now dhanam, it's not easy to give up. We are always happy to see in the passbook more money. So it's not easy to come out. Even though we may say, I'm just working like a duty, whatever comes, but it is maybe some extent, but not 100%. We are very satisfied because money, we think is security. Money, we think, but those who are constantly increasing, thinking more money, Queen Kunti said they will not be able to feelingly pray to the Lord. Why? If you get some level of satisfaction in having good, say, suppose you get 1 crore rupee, and if you have great satisfaction and look at that as a matter of some accomplishment and satisfaction, then why you will pray to the Lord? So your prayers will not be, even though you pray, you will not be able to feelingly pray. Janma Sharya Shuta Shivi, and who knows the shloka? Janma Sharya Shuta Shivi, Edaman Madhapuman. Those who are intoxicated by possession of Janma Aishwarya Shutashi, they will not be able to feelingly pray to the Lord. Correct? Isn't it true? So therefore, there is presently at this time we do have. Therefore, we are not able to, just like Nanda Maharaj, when Krishna went away, you think the money was not there, he was a Raja, very rich. But he could not live with it. He almost died because his satisfaction was from Krishna, not money. If we have some level, see, as a matter of duty when you are doing, money or no money doesn't matter. You're still a Shuddha Bhakta. Like Yudhishthira Maharaj walked out of the palace, doesn't matter. Still remain Shuddha Bhakta. No disturbance. Na janam, followers. That's also important. Now you're taking class, instead of 300, there are 40 people. Only 40 people. Why, Janam? You do your service. Krishna will see, who am I in control? I am just an instrument in Krishna's hand. So Krishna gave you some time. Look at Krishna. Krishna gave you some time. 300. Krishna, I did my duty. Krishna gave you 20. Krishna, I did my duty. I'm detached. I'm nobody behind you and a lot of people behind you. I'm detached. Na dhanam, na janam. So we are trying to satisfy Krishna. Janam, not janam. Prabhupada said actually, yes, Padmavali Mataji, you can chant the shloka. It's a very beautiful shloka.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Janmaishwarya Shruta Shrivihi Ye Dhana Madah Puman. Sorry. Na yeva arhati abhidhatum bhaitvam akinchana gocharam.
Okay, thank you. So we do have some janam, we do get affected. Many teachers are upset, only 40. I said, see, so many batches you take in class. Now, why can't you convince your people to come and attend now or get their friend? Each one bring one. And then Sundari, this is another Maya. Oh, one beautiful brahmachari, I keep warning them. I was, selling books. Now, this is not me, 30 years before, young boy in the temple. And sometimes goes, Prabhuji, how are you? Huh? Why you are asking me? How are you? So if you say, yes, I'm fine, how are you? Very easy to get trapped, in the name of devotional life. Who will take care of that girl? Only I have to take care. And then gone. So you have to catch. The 3 things should not give you satisfaction. Here directly spoken, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking for devotee, and he was on that platform. He's the Lord himself. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavita jagadish. Mama janmani shri. I don't want all this. What do you want then? What is your positive program? Birth after birth, my Lord. Give me, bestow upon me pure devotion. Bhavatat bhakti ahetuki. Ahetuki means pure devotion, without any cause. Ours is not without any cause. We are attached to money, we are attached to women, we are attached to followers, we are contaminated. It's Mishrit Bhakti. But you're not that till Shuddha Bhakti we will not do. Continue devotion service. Gradually it will only purify. But this is Shuddha Bhakti. Ahetuki means without hetu means cause. So I want pure devotion. Bestow upon me pure devotion, Allah. That the Lord Chaitanya's prayer. Thank you. Yes, Prabhuji. Chaliye aage.
Text number 2, where Lord Krishna talks about the relationship between the Sannyas and the Yoga. And Lord Krishna explains that both these are same because, I'll read from translation. What is called renunciation, you should know to be the same as yoga or linking oneself with the Supreme, O son of Pandu. For one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. So, to be a yogi, one needs to renounce the desire for sense
Madhura Shetty, your mic is making sound. Chalo, continue.
Yes. Real sannyas or bhakti yoga, it implies knowledge of one's constitutional position as the living entity, which is being part and parcel of the Supreme as the marginal energy of the Lord. And in conditioned state, the living entity thinks himself to be identifies himself with the matter, being entrapped by the material energy. And real natural state for the living entity is when he or she becomes Krishna conscious. So stages of complete knowledge are given when one ceases all sense gratificatory activities and acts according to one's natural constitutional position as the part and parcel of the God. And the way how yogis achieve this is by restraining their senses from the material attachments. And how a devotee achieves this particular position of complete knowledge is through the engagement in Krishna conscious activities, where he doesn't have any engagement outside the Krishna conscious activity for material engagements.
So that is the only rescue path for us. Always be busily engaged and try to do some service to Krishna. So just like now you are hearing Bhagavatam, now you don't have to really think about not watching TV. That's the biggest challenge. Social media, TV absorbs all your time. True? Now, when you are attending Bhagavatam class, it is easy to give up these distractions because you are focused somewhere else. So instead of, I'll not watch TV, I'll not waste my time, any more time in Facebook, I'll not waste Instagram, I'll not waste my time in Netflix, whatever, I don't know what all are there now. So I'll not waste my time. So there is neti, that is path of no. This is path of yes. This is easier. Bhakti Yoga is easier. I accept Krishna and I hear about Krishna. And Pran Chaitanya Prabhu is so humbly, so nicely, like a devotee explaining. Voice is so pleasing. I can hear about Krishna. And I am saved from fighting what to watch TV and what to watch TV. Therefore, this study groups will be helpful. Some people are there, like Prana Chaitanya, alone he sits and studies. Not everybody can do that. Okay? So in group, it will help. Gradually, as your mind becomes strengthened and powerful and purified, you will be not on your own, you will be sitting and studying. Now, this is a pushing situation. Chalo.
So Krishna also wants that if we are not able to give this mentality of selfish satisfaction and be prepared to understand and to satisfy the Supreme, then one will be failure in this process of Dhyana and Yoga. So who will fail this? One who has no information of the Supreme must engage in the selfish activities, and who fulfills this criteria of Dhyana and Yoga fully. Only a Krishna conscious person who has got no desire for sense enjoyment and always engage in the for the enjoyment of the Supreme, he would succeed in.
So see, the point is that if you do not even agree God is there, where is the question of devotional service? Correct? So today in you see mass of youth, particularly, therefore I don't know how many of you can help me. Already some of you are helping me as admins and teachers. And people are writing to me. I want some more people who are not engaged in service or who want to shift to this department. We are creating a separate website. It will be a totally different, just like children's. We should not go to when children are doing their, drama. And I was seeing yesterday a video was posted at Devika Mataji about the Krishna Vesha. I was just watching that. So cute the look, So give them space. And I suppose you said you also want to do Krishna. Give them space. Let them children be among children. So elders among and youth, we need to give them space. So that their approach may be little more science and logic may be needed to be used. As any one of you who has some study of science and logic. You think because apart from our Shastra, we will have to use logic also additionally to convince them. And I made a small attempt of, you have seen my presentation, which I use for colleges. Many more I have in a raw situation. We can work. I wrote books also on the youth preaching. We can all work together, and I would like to put my personal time on that. And it's a great achievement if you can do, because pyramid is like this. Children's you get, what the problem is this, if the parents don't allow, they cannot practice spiritual life. They will not be able to. If parents say no, he cannot even chant. Youth are semi-independent. Many of the youth are in colleges. They are free from home. They now, at this time, they're exploring about life. It's a very important time to enter their hearts. Okay, so those who want, let us have one more journey. I like to have at least one session being taken. See, this is giving me a platform. Last time, there was a very good registration for youth in all the languages. It is just that because of no teachers were ready and trained, we didn't do. And this time, I was ready in English, in Hindi, in Kannada, in Telugu, all the languages. Some youth teachers can be there. We will have one session a week, separate website, separate department, separate quizzes, everything separate. Correct? We may take just like children's class, if you see, it's quite similar to adult class, but it is shaped differently. Similarly, we will have to have separate presentation for youth. Some work will be needed in that, and maybe quizzes may be also slightly different, and the whole ecosystem will be different. Instead of religious, it will be more spiritual. Okay, and some people who are intellectually inclined, even as adults, can attend those classes. These classes will also be attractive for people in other parts of the world which have no exposure to a Vedic culture. You start in the first chapter, Dhritarashtra, they don't know what is Dhritarashtra. That big joke. Hindu newspaper went for interview and they asked people, who is father of Sita? Sita father. This is actually a fact. They're not joking. They're asking very basic questions and people are struggling to answer. Then they asked that, Amitabh Bachchan, is it, or Abhishek Bachchan's, is it son or daughter? They said daughter and told them name also. So we need to. So there is no information in the schools and colleges about God, where there is a question of devotion service. And once we are anyway servant. So when we are not serving God, we are serving the senses, and then the life goes down. So Prabhupada said, therefore, schools and colleges, see, they are also limited. It's not the school, college are bad. Our constitution does not allow religion to be taught in the schools and colleges. There is article in the constitution which doesn't allow you. So what they can do, and it's not. So they are ready to combine with us, and at least here and informally, we are the youth 16 to 25 years, we can give them idea about God. So they will not go for sense gratification, rather they will go for devotion service. Okay, so very nice. So join me in this. Write a mail to me, those who want. We'll make a whole department. You may not take class today, but we need to work. And I'll tell you something even more interesting. Srila Prabhupada made 3 organizations. Number one, you all know, is ISKCON, which you are all very fortunate to be part of. And we are all, Prabhupada himself used to say, I'm just a member of ISKCON. So the institution is much ahead for everybody. The second part, and we are all benefiting. Second part, Srila Prabhupada created was BBT. You are not aware, the books in ISKCON are not printed by ISKCON. They're printed by a separate trust called BBT. It's an independent trust. Financially, trustees, it's an independent trust. Prabhupada said, I want to keep it like that because if you leaders make a mess, ISKCON may close, but the books will be independently available. It's a publication house, BBT. It's ISKCON's in-house huge publication house. Maybe the largest in the world. We print millions of copies of every language around the world. We have distributed 500 million books on the earth today. 500 million books. It's a great service. Many devotees are doing that. Done. We have to seek their blessing. Another institution Prabhupada created was BI. And I'm not a product of ISKCON. I'm a product of BI. I was not made devotee by ISKCON. BI people came to my college and they took a class. Can machines think? And atheists like me would not even have gone if it was not titled like that. Can machines think? I went to attend that class, and that person gave a class, and I was stunned. He spoke on AI, artificial intelligence. So when we are starting, I don't think we are top scientists to speak at that. In IIT spoke, and whole audience at IIT was, huh? IIT Kanpur in India. True, his credentials are he worked in Bell Labs in America. Bell Labs in America. He speaks in, I heard him, appreciated definitely his class. But then the point was that it was an icebreaker for me.
What is the full form of BI, Prabhu? Sorry.
Bhakti Vedanta Institute. Prabhupada created. It's an organization created by ISKCON as a front. It's a front. See, it's like a bridge. Now, suppose I come to meet you, Janaki Mataji, and you are the top scientist of India. I tell you, if I speak about Hare, you may not directly hear. You have questions. Well, tell me first. Okay, I'm a chant also. Fine. When I start the philosophy, I have a lot of questions. Through science, I like to understand your Gita to some extent. So therefore, we need a team. We talk very scientifically. We talk very logically. Not only we quote Shastra. Generally now what we are doing is that we are quoting Shastra and teaching. So this is a very important department because I'm taking liberty in the middle of Bhakti Shastri because my cream is here. Oh, whatever, 62 people. This is the result of 16 batches in front of us, correct? Rest of people are on the way. They will join on October, maybe October, and maybe after the yatra we will allow them in. One more batch will be coming from level 3. Expect around 50-60 people to come in. Some of them are already here. Some new people will come in. So this is this team can start working. We will have a very nice ecosystem, just like children's department. I see devotees have done amazing work. They have Sunday school also now. It has quite developed. Presentations are different, quizzes are different. Let us develop also youth department. It's huge. The number of people coming, the registration was huge. We just gave it to the teacher this time, but even the teachers told me back, for these people, we should have some special approach. I said, yes, but this time just do it. We just saw straw vote, interest is there. Now, come, we will enjoy that. Now, what is happening because there is no knowledge of the God, Prabhupada says the young people are getting slaughtered. Once there is no knowledge of God, what happened to me? I tell you, my house is very religious. 3 hours puja I saw from day one when I was born, but I had no information, no knowledge. I was becoming atheistic, and finally came back. So then it's just little. Had I gone little more, simple activity would have started in my life because there was nothing. So this is protection. Because once he serves Supreme, he's spiritually very happy, he's ecstatic, he's blissful. He doesn't have to go for sense enjoyment. Correct? Isn't it true? There is no informed Supreme and must engage in sinful activities, selfish activity. Yes, Prabhuji. Sorry to keep interrupting you.
In next text 6.3 and 6.4, in which Lord Krishna talks about different levels of the yoga practice, starting with the beginning stage called Yoga Ruruksha to advanced stage, Yoga Runda stage. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport the meaning of yoga, which is the process of linking oneself to the Supreme. And Srila Prabhupada compares yoga with a ladder. It begins with the lowest rung of material condition of the living entity and goes up to the topmost spiritual realization. And this yoga ladder is divided into various parts, namely Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. And Prabhuji also showed sometime back. It starts with the Bhogi and then Karma Yoga, and then this ladder continues. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. So
Yoga, Rudha, this is the word actually used in Ashtanga Yoga also, and I also practice that even in Krishna consciousness. See, when somebody joins in the temple, in Ashtanga Yoga, in the beginning, there is a lot of exercises, a lot of pranayama exercises, but Yoga Rudha stage is sitting and meditating on the Lord. Okay? This is a term used within Ashtanga Yoga vocabulary. In practice, even temples also I do that. When somebody joins the temple, you saw the Russian boy, 1.5 years, he was just washing horse. That's what you do. Physically cross, run, wash, run, and schedule till here. Night will drop. Because that's how the mind has to be engaged in sort of gross activity. As it gets purified, a little more calmer, then person can do other activities. It also makes a person humble. So we run in the beginning. In fact, you see a very sattvic person there. He can sit down in some place and hold a study without any disturbance, any distraction. He can study for 10 hours 18 hours, no issue at all. This is not an issue for him. He can. He is a Brahminical person. He is best for academic study of the Shastra and teaching because he himself should be able to study. The Rajasic person, we know that we come from many of us Rajoguna. We saw how it was in schools and colleges. We had a book in front of us. You just cannot study. And a Tamasic person will just sleep on the book. Only a Sattvic person can study. This is a differentiation. So in the beginning, because we all come from Rajasic, Tamasic background, it's good to make them run. Keep them physically very active. That's how Prabhupada says, we want hard-working people. That's the essence. Running around, not just sit and plan. They cannot do that at the time. Their mind is not ready for that. Run. See, it's easy to engage the body, control the body, difficult to control the mind. Easy to control the body. Use body and wash the temple, grossly engage. And gradually, because of that, because you're doing it for the Lord, it pleases the Lord, mind is calm, mind is purified. Then at the end, sitting, that's called Paramahamsa situation, just absorption in the Lord, Leela Sparam. Even practical application of that, Srila Prabhupada used to always request devotees, please allow me, because he was in the highest of situation. I have to finish all these books. You see how much Prabhupada is putting energy, how much Satuguna is needed just for what he was doing, sleeping just 2 hours, just imagine. And jumping on the bed and sitting and then writing. And he used to have if he's writing Bhagavad Gita purport, he'll have purports of his guru, his guru's guru, even of other Vaishnava Sampradaya, Madhvacharya, Ramanandacharya. He'll keep all the things together, looking at that, thinking what they have written. How much calmness, peace of mind. Just think about it, isn't it needed? And who is finishing Bhagavatam? Not 1 or 2 days. Okay, one day you can do that. Can you do every day? 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam. The lifetime work he was doing. In Vrindavan, he used to every day go to Rupa Goswami Samadhi and room and pray to Rupa Goswami. Give me mercy. Give me mercy. My Guru has given a very big mission. To have that level of integrity, having a life dedicated to please the spiritual master, how much pure the consciousness has to be. Can you just imagine? So in the beginning, we cannot just be on that platform. That is called sahajiya. It will become very cheap. Therefore, hard work, strict sadhana, and hard work full day for engagement in service should continue. Okay? So we also follow the yoga, ruksha, yoga, rudha stage, even though these are not our terms. These are the terms of Ashtanga Yoga, popular among Ashtanga Yogis.
Prabhuji, one question on this. Can we say that intense physical engagement, it will also result in the mental engagement over a period of time?
Yeah, it does. And see, it may not be fully, but to some extent. No? Just like when the chanting is done, we generally in the beginning chant very loudly. Hare Krishna, because this mind just doesn't listen. In fact, every day when you begin, the first 1 or 2 rounds has to be a little louder because it just doesn't listen. Then you start calming down. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. True. So because you're engaged, you're washing temple, cleaning temple, somewhat you will think, for whom I'm doing here with my Lord. So to some extent, but not be as a pure devotee when he cleans the temple. He is cleaning, imagine, with what love he's cleaning. It's a different. See, not only activity is done, but what consciousness activity is done, that is also important. In the initial state, it is very difficult to have consciousness, high quality for devotional service. So engagement is done and some amount of bhakti is there. There is some touch, but not the way like Radharani cooks for Krishna. You are also cooking. I'm also cooking. Yes, many times this mistakes devotee make. They say, I'm doing service. But what consciousness you're doing service? To be noticed, to become famous, to become rich, to be honored, then this is not focus on the Lord is limited. Correct? Yes, Hare Krishna.
So, continuation of the same theme, Yoga, Rudha, Yoga, Yoga stage. Position of a Krishna conscious person. So a Krishna conscious person, because of his constant engagement in devotional service from the very beginning, he is engaged on the platform of meditation. So Prabhuji mentioned in this regard, there are certainly do's and don'ts at the beginning of the process for the Krishna conscious person or devotee also. But the topmost stage of the yoga practice, which is meditation on the Supreme, the person at the beginning of Krishna consciousness, he is also engaged in. And because of his constant engaged in the service of the Lord, he is considered to have ceased all material activities. So the yoga Ruda stage platform, the criteria for that is automatically it gets fulfilled when one engages in the Krishna conscious practices. One is always pleased in himself and is no longer engaged in sense gratification. Again, this is a platform at a higher stage of advancement in Krishna consciousness. And a Krishna conscious person can do everything for Krishna's satisfaction and thus perfectly detach oneself from sense gratification. On the other hand, if one doesn't engage in Krishna consciousness, then the senses for sure they need engagement, and without Krishna consciousness, they are automatically engaged in sense gratification.
So see, Prabhupada's commentary on the chapter on Ashtanga Yoga is from Krishna consciousness. So always say, Krishna conscious person, however, is already doing this. Because even Krishna is saying, in this chapter, go and sit down in the forest. Prabhupada said, but don't do that. He's a factor. Krishna is saying, do. He says, don't do. Because he's explaining that it included the benefit of Ashtanga Yoga, included within Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, he says, Krishna conscious person, however, is situated in the beginning also in the platform of meditation because he's thinking about Krishna all the time. In fact, it did happen. When Krishna sent, whom Krishna did send to meet the gopis after a long time. Uddhava, yes, Uddhava went to meet the gopis on behalf of Krishna. So he told gopis, don't feel separation from Krishna because you can always meditate upon him. They started laughing, meditate. We are thinking of him 24 hours a day and you have to meditate on him. So already they have achieved it. Now what does the person do? Astanga, go to the forest and meditate on the Lord. That's what they were doing. So much they were absorbed that they don't even know they are doing anything else. So they were started laughing, but meditate. In fact, some gopis used to think, if you can forget Krishna for some time, because I'm not able to do my household work, reverse the thing. If I can forget for some time this useless person, I can do my some work. So their situation is, our situation is reverse. If I can remember Krishna 1 minute in my day, that day is so beautiful. If in a day I'm chanting Hare Krishna, and while chanting, my mind was calm and I could offer 1 or 2 prayers to the Lord to be his servant, I said today's day was so good. For them, it is total samadhi on the Lord. Highest Ramya Kyajitupasana Brajavadhu, Chaitanya Prabhupada said, no comparison ever of any kind of devotee to the devotion of the gopis, the topmost devotees. What they contemplated, what they meditated on Krishna is just respectable. We can just honor it. Highest samadhi on the Lord and Madhurya Bhava. That is. Okay? From very beginning, they are in the samadhi on the Lord. But where are we situated? Yes, we are in the part of Shuddha Bhakti on the shelter of a pure devotee. As such, we are not. We are all mishrit, contaminated, but we have a privilege of a fortune of getting shelter of a pure devotee. Okay? In the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So in the next part of the text number 6.5 and 6.
Prabhu, little voice, your voice stronger.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, now in the next text 6.5 and 6.6, Krishna is.
Prabhuji, see, like this, many companies have. You get from small amount to you're in an advanced country. You get from small. That makes the voice very rich. Yeah, not now, later.
Krishna is explaining the position of mind both as one's best of one's friend and worst of the enemy, and also explaining the importance of mind control, especially for a person on Ashtanga Yoga practice. So controlled mind is one's friend because it follows the dictation of the Supreme Lord as the Super Soul. It helps one detach oneself from sense gratification and ultimately leads to elevation. And an uncontrolled mind, on the other hand, it acts as one's worst enemy because we follow the dictation of lust, anger, illusion, and other anarthas, and it attaches one to sense gratification and results in degradation and entanglement. So mind control is the central point of yoga practice, which helps one to draw the mind away from the sense object and to control and make the mind our best of our friends in discharging the mission of life. And best way to disentangle the mind is to always engage the mind in Krishna consciousness through perfect surrender to Lord's dictations. Perfect surrender to Lord's dictations follows automatically in Krishna consciousness.
So you may say, what is Krishna consciousness? What is Krishna consciousness? The pleasure of serving the Lord. This is a very, very confidential gift by a pure devotee. A pure devotee has within his heart a pleasure of service to the Lord. And just by submissively hearing him, Sane Sita Shrutikata Tanuva Manubi, even though we are not great karma yogis, even though we are not great Gyani yogis, even though we are not great Ashtanga yogis, but one fortune we all have, we heard a pure devotee submissively. And that is how all of us started our spiritual life, by reading some words of Srila Prabhupada directly or through his devotees we heard. And that, yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, Prabhuji has some gear with him. Yes. Okay. So that is a fortune we have, Krishna consciousness. And we are a beginner in that. We are not Shuddha Bhakta in that. But a Shuddha Bhakta definitely is easily his mind is controlled. Now, this is always to be remembered. Purification, 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 purification. Make that the goal of the day. At least mind has to purify. And uncontrolled mind is not, runs about lust, anger. This is impurity. So by regularly chanting the name of the Lord, keep hearing about the Lord, like this, discussing the philosophy. See what happens when you're discussing philosophy. Not only you are hearing devotees, which will make the mind calm, at the same time, you are hearing devotees with realizations. That will also help you. I'll explain at this point, very important, why association is important. Suppose I have Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, so that grow, what are the stages they go? Dhyayate, Vishya, Pumsa, Sangha, Teshu, Vijayate, Sangha, Sanjayate, Kama. That another, we make a sequence, correct? Second chapter. Now, to the degree somebody has developed sinful desires in his heart and activities, he is having that level of addiction to that. The force of Maya is very strong. Say a drunkard, Kitna maja aaya. And a normal man says, maja aaya. Now that when he says kitna maja aaya, there is a force of Maya on that. He is totally crushed. Tamagoda. If you associate with him, you heard a famous saying, ask somebody's 5 best friend and then we can tell him his future. There's a famous saying, any person who get 5 his best friend and they can tell this is your future. So similarly, Sangha Sanjayate Kama, in a bad company, I may pick up unwanted desires. Not only a desire, with a realization, will drag you down in a second. He might have taken 10 years to become a drug addict to that level, and he can make you drug addict in 1 minute. Similarly, in spiritual life also, this is a benefit. Suppose to the degree somebody evolved in spiritual life, to that degree he's feeling Yogamaya within his heart. So through our study is Bhakti Shastri course, we are more only studying the points, but also develop a habit of hearing the Acharya Prabhupada. When you read for 5-10 minutes, you even read for some time, half an hour, 1 hour his books, you can feel the heart of the Acharya. You can hear his lectures also. He's such a great devotee. So when you're hearing him, association, not only you getting the concepts and the point, you're also getting realization. Therefore, people say, I read again and again, every time a new meaning. So the same points every time. No, it's not the new meaning. New realizations, deeper realizations. You are able to feel much more clarity. Yes, okay, I get it. So that will be much better. You're able to realize the truth much better. So, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha Sarvasiddhya, take association. And this is always the answer is Krishna consciousness. Always, you see any question. But Krishna consciousness will come from the heart of the devotee. Okay. Dharmasya tattvam is a tarka apratishtaha. You cannot understand what is Krishna consciousness by argument. You'll know tarka apratishtaha, Shrutiya vibhinnaha. Even Vedic literature, that Upanishad says something else, that Upanishad says something else, that Purana says this, you will get confused. Shrutiya vibhinnaha. And nato materiyas munirna bhinnam. Any muni means Gyani, he has his own opinion. In my opinion, it's like that. We get totally confused. Then the shloka says, Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. The conclusion of religion sits in the heart of a devotee. Mahajano yen gata sapanta. Therefore, look for a Mahajana and follow it. So the famous shloka from the scripture. Somebody can locate this. Tarka pratishtha shutaya vivanna. I wish I have that book with my hand, that shloka book. Okay, done, Prabhuji.
So importance of training the mind. This Krishna explains in the next text. Text number 6.6. Why is it necessary to train the mind? Because to deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of material nescience, from material existence. And what is that mire of material existence? Where one is subjected to the influence of the mind and senses, and pure soul is entangled in the material world because the mind is involved in the false ego and desires to lord it over. So if we want to get out of this, we need to make mind as our friend, and that can happen only when we train our mind. And in what principle one should train the mind? One should train it so that one should not be attracted by the glitter of material nature, and thus control the conditioned soul can be saved and not be degraded by attraction to the sense objects. And mind attached to the sense object is a cause of bondage, and mind detached from the sense object is the cause of liberation. So Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse from Amrita Bindu
Attracted to
Upanishad.
sense object, and look at this thing. Unless you develop attraction to spiritual variety, material variety is different. Material variety, it depends also how we look at it. When we are too much lost into material variety, we see people as handsome, beautiful, and music, karmi music, I'm not normal, it's nice and good, flavor, this is good and bad. People spend their life on titillating their senses. And what is variety? The mother of enjoyment. But there is something called spiritual variety. Therefore, in a temple, Prabhupada said either you should have your own temple or you should go to a temple and visit a temple where the deities are very beautifully decorated. Therefore, I say, see the deities every day. Because when you see beautiful decoration of the deities, the nature of the eyes to see beauty goes away. Although the eyes want to have satisfaction of seeing something beautiful. You smell the tulsi offered to the lotus feet of the Lord is so satisfying that you don't feel the need to smell so many cosmetic smells. And what is nowadays are all synthetic only. I was buying some scent for the Lord. We do massage. See, everything we use for Krishna service. So I went to one person, in the malls they sell somewhere. So I say, I want the pure one. Is it pure? You cannot pay that rate also. It's all mixed only, all mixed. Synthetic plus some little flavor. You don't get the pure. I said, pure I want. That you don't get. So that's how it is. Smells. So better have smell of tulsi on the lotus feet of the Lord. Pure smell of the rose offered to the Lord and smell. Nose. So by that way, you can get detached to material variety because you are interacting now spiritual variety. And once you get taste, just like it is said, once somebody sees Krishna, he becomes blind. In the sense, he doesn't want to see anything now. So satisfied. Somebody hears Krishna, he becomes deaf. He doesn't want to hear anybody. Krishna's voice is so sweet. And somebody, when Krishna was talking to Nanda Maharaj, my dear father, why are you doing this Indra Puja? All people are actually looking at you, he's speaking so sweetly. That's how it is. So you hear Krishna, you become deaf. You smell Krishna, you become, taste Krishna means prasadam. Now, how many of you are serious practitioners now already? Don't you think that already that's happening to you? You stop hearing all karmi music because you heard some bhajans, you become deaf already. Somebody play loud rock or some film music, pyar ho gaya, mohabbat, ye dosti, band karo. You already, because you are hearing Krishna, you become deaf. You are seeing Krishna, you become blind. You don't say, I want to see. And we are tasting prasadam and we don't eat food outside. How many the devotees are already practicing that they just don't eat anything which is not prasadam. So they become in one sense. So it happens. The more and more the mind is involved in Krishna consciousness, automatically we become attached to sense enjoyment. Okay. Otherwise, the process of battling with the senses like Vishwamitra, no, Medika nahi. But Haridas Thakur easily passed the test because he was not just sitting meditating, he was chanting the sweet holy names, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Nothing happened. Yes, Hare Krishna.
So the last part of the section which we are discussing, text number 7 to 9, which describes the symptom of a person with controlled mind and senses, one who is on the Yoga Ruda platform. Being such a person is completely neutral to all material existence and all the dualities. He sees all the objects equally, like pebbles, gold, stone, all of these he sees on the same platform. He is fully satisfied by Jnana and Vijnana, the knowledge and the realized knowledge. And he sees all people equally, the most advanced stage, Pandita Samadarshina. Intended goal for every living entity is to abide by the dictation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead seated in our heart as Paramatma. And deviation from this goal happens because of the misled mind. So when the mind is misled by the external illusory energy of the Lord, one becomes entangled in the material activities.
If the mind is made friend, the following symptoms develop: coupling to material existence and dualities. All dualities, my request will be, I am apart from the analytical study of this chapter, also telling some personal advice. Political parties duality, national duality, just take your mind off that. India England match, क्या हुआ, वो जीता, वो हारा, वो javelin फेंका, India जीता, India हारा. Okay, 1 minute. True, we are not pure devotees. We are also to some extent affected by Desha Bhakti, but Krishna consciousness is much higher than Desha Bhakti. Okay? So dualities, beef, how much time goes? Now you say, how many people generally they say BJP is great, BJP. How much time is wasted in that? Because you have to see every time BJP argument is better than what Congress is saying, other thing. Mind is wasted, no? Time is wasted, no? When you have pure devotee support, why you have to put your life and heart among these politicians? Many of them are cooks. Many of them are, I meet personally, many of them are not deserve your attention and time like you are putting. All objects equally, pebble, gold, and stone. This is another distraction. A devotee develops equal vision for that because he is not interested in all these things. Fully satisfied. We have to have some satisfaction. Because there is spiritual happiness, he is not seeking happiness in these things. And sees all people equally, most advanced stage. Okay, very nice. He has arranged them in sequence 6.7, 6.8, 6.9. Thank you, Prabhuji. See, there is an arrangement. Previous sloka. Can you all see that? His hard work. He has shown you the system. These are all, he has taken notes. Prabhuji, from where you taken notes, please tell them so they can also study.
Referring to the Gita Subodhani and the Gaurang Priya Prabhu's notes, the PDF that we shared on the group.
Okay, so you can also take advantage. Intended goal for every living entity to abide by the dictation of Supreme Personality Godhead who sit in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Deviation of the goal caused because of misled mind, and the mind is misled by external relation and the entanglement. Okay, to abide by the dictation. You should always a servant never takes his own initiative. You stop doing any simple activity if you just have this attention. I will do anything which is ordered to me because I am a dasa. You are not a master, you are a dasa. So this is why you are chanting Hare Krishna, because my guru told me to chant. Why you are getting up in the morning Mangalarti? Because I have been told to do. Just imagine Prabhupada's position, such a great acharya. He says, in 1936, I came under the protection of my spiritual master. Just look at his statement. I came under protection. He is feeling so sweet. So that's how we should feel. I came under the protection. I just do what I have been told to do. That is wonderful consciousness, very beautiful consciousness. Try to come under the dictation of the Supreme Personality. I have been told to do that. And I do that. You feel very happy when you develop this servitude attitude. Even Prabhupada says in Brahma Samhita, the Lord Shiva also doesn't take any independent initiative. And we are jokers say, okay, tell me, we take initiative. I'll go there, I'll sit there and I'll watch that movie. You're taking, who told you to do that? You didn't do that. You are planning to be an enjoyer, imitate the Lord. But nobody gave you that service, no? Did anybody give you? No. So similarly, anything we do, we should see, have I been told to do? Make your list of the day, see what all you're going to do, and say which you have been instructed to do. That's what is Krishna consciousness. I have been told. Why you're chanting Hare Krishna 16 knot? And anybody meditate that I have been ordered to chant 16 knot by the Acharya will chant 16 knot. Otherwise, they will not chant. Many people I see, they say they are chanting 16 knot, but they chant just 5-6 songs in a day. Hare Krishna, the beat they're holding, and that's it. They stops and they just stop it. But if you know I have been ordered, you will be so fearful. I have not completed the order. 1 round you complete, 15 round more to complete the order of the Acharya. 2 rounds complete, 14 more rounds to complete the order of the Acharya. And when you are doing devotion service on the order of Acharya, something mystery for you, it becomes pure devotion service. One Pujari came to me, he said, I'm offering Bhoga to the Lord. How do I know Lord accepted? I said, did you chant the Guru Pranam Mantra? Yes. He said, yes. Did you request your Guru in the heart that please offer this to the Lord? He said, yes. I said, done. It is offered. See, why will the Lord accept? Just think about Bhoga offering. Why should the Lord accept it? Because we are just neophytes. We are not pure devotees. How we are ought to offer anything to the Lord? But when I'm doing it, my Lord, I'm standing here because my Guru ordered me to offer you Bhoga. Please therefore accept it. Krishna will accept. That's the attitude. So similarly, if you chant Hare Krishna, because I've been ordered by the Acharya, that is my reason I'm chanting, it becomes pure chanting. It will immediately please the Lord. And it is done in a proper submissive spirit. I have been told to do. I don't know how to do this, but I have been told to do. That devotee was there, that Sriranga famous incident. He was reading Bhagavad Gita and tears were falling from his eyes, but his pronunciation was not correct. So people are laughing and laughing at him because previously people knew what is Gita. I had a colleague in long time ago. We used to go for fundraising for the Bangalore big temple. A young boy, very smart boy. So we went to some place for activity. So meeting some people for donation. So he quoted some shloka. So I was really surprised. I never read that shloka. So came back, I said, which shloka you quoted? No, there is no shloka like. Simply they get impressed why I spoke some shloka. Karishati, something he created on the spot of shloka. Then I said, why did you do like that? He said, no, what to do? I was stuck. See, common people don't even know what are Gita shlokas. The way we pronounce Bhagavad Gita, that's how he was pronouncing. Mispronunciation and without even knowing the meaning of the verses. That's what he was doing. Everybody was laughing. So today we all chant, we do the Gita Shloka chanting also. If you do among the Vedic society where they know the word meaning and they know the proper chanting, they will laugh at us like that we are that Brahmana only. And that's what happened to the people. They were laughing. And then what happened? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. He noticed something. It approached him. Now, Lord will not want to waste 1 second. I will not approach fools. So he said, my dear Brahmana, what are you doing? So he understood he is not come to make fun of me. He's asking. He said, I'm trying to read Bhagavad Gita. Why? He said, my Guru ordered me to do that. Okay, that's fine. But I'm just like we are. He was exactly like what we are. But I don't know the meaning of the word, neither am I able to pronounce properly. That's why people keep laughing. Okay, Chaitanya said, that's fine. But I see tears in my eyes. Tell me the mystery. You can't even know the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. You are just doing reading of Bhagavad Gita. He said, I'm reading because my Guru ordered me to do that. And because of that, Krishna was so pleased with that Brahmana. Krishna gave him Krishna Bhakti within his heart. And he said to Lord Chaitanya, when I put the book in front of my eyes, even though I don't know meaning of any verses of Bhagavad Gita, exactly like morals like us, when I try to read Bhagavad Gita, I see image of Krishna holding the chariot. Krishna's hands are so beautiful. He is the supreme Lord, no? He should sit in the chariot. Arjuna should ride. Krishna is so merciful. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you understood Bhagavad Gita. So without reading Bhagavad Gita, without understanding meaning of any word in Bhagavad Gita, he understood Bhagavad Gita. Why? He tried to do it on the order of the Guru. So this is a very important principle. Everything you do, even this course you are doing, I have been told to. Prabhuji told me I should do the course. Why I told? Prabhupada told. So Prabhupada told all devotees should study Bhakti Shastri course. They should study Gita exhaustively, which is just a Bhakti Shastri, just a term. They study Gita thoroughly, read every word, read word meaning, to do all study, try to understand. So Prabhupada said, always have that meditation. I'm doing because I have been told to do. So this makes your life perfect. In fact, like Prabhupada said, anybody builds a Mayapur temple, Bhaktivinoda Thakur will take him by hand back to God. He said that. So even one more, he said, if you make a skyscraper for Lord Chaitanya, you'll go back to God. So, we don't do individually. That's what we have a plan to do. And Krishna reveals. I'm just seeing designs. I'm not getting fully satisfied. 4 or 5 designs. I'm just want Krishna to reveal what he wants there. So the point is that we should always meditate. There is an order. And try to satisfy that order, that your life becomes pleased. if you say, I want to do this, I want to do that, there may be somewhere your desire for nama, upadhi, sense gratification attached. When you say that it has been told to me to do that and you're doing that, that's beautiful. And there is total detachment. Just like Prabhuji said, Nishkama Karma Yoga comes when you're doing on the order. Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, just one question. On the previous slide, you mentioned not getting touched by duality and that we should not fall, go too much into the details of what is happening around. But Prabhuji, like those of us who are staying in outside worlds, out in temple, we need to keep oneself like abreast of what is happening around the world. And some of the things that are happening around the world are so disturbing that one naturally becomes opinionated. What should happen? How one should.
But
So
see,
how
the
do
point is that just like I tell you, many of us in ISKCON thing, generally congregation all, they are for BJP. Come, I have an example I put. Okay. Have you met the leaders? You will be shocked to know many of them are atheist. Many of them are self-gratified. Most of them are very corrupt also. Correct? So now every time an argument goes in a newspaper, he should win and that should lose. Don't put your heart. If it was Krishna, no, I would have put my life on it. Correct? So there need to be some level of, okay, like choosing between rotten eggs, less rotten. That's okay. But some level of distance. Don't put your devotees put their, I've seen congregation particularly, they put their life on it. As a movement, we are apolitical. We don't want to get into anything. And as observer, I was happy. In Karnataka, they banned the cow slaughter. I'm very happy. Correct. But true, but still I will not give my life on it. When I going, I know they will help me there, but there is some level of distance to report. They're not Krishna conscious technically. And still there are strong mental desires. Still there is, if there is somebody Krishna like Tulsi Gabbard in America, she's a devotee. And her statements, if you have seen, just type Tulsi Gabbard, she comes on ISKCON events. She speaks sometimes better than sannyasis. I shocked the way she spoke about Prabhupada's journey to America. Everybody spoke. And what she spoke, she says, if you want to understand Srila Prabhupada's journey from America to, from India to America, you cannot even realm of his consciousness, you cannot enter unless you have the holy name on your mouth and your heart. Because she said, he came out of compassion. But you cannot even understand this platform of life unless your heart is pure. Well, a point that nobody expressed, she expressed, and she's a politician. Correct? It was very touching the way she said that. There was another place they had a big meeting in America, and she came. Now everybody was hesitating, just like bridge preaching, talking, making good friend. She said, "Why not Hare Krishna?" She took the guitar and sang Hare Krishna in front of all leading politicians of America, big people, and she made them hear Hare Krishna mantra. Correct? So if there is somebody like Tulsi Gabbard who is actually out and out chants Hare Krishna as a devotee, then put your all energy behind that. How is the person doing? Did he win in the argument? Did he win the election? There is nothing wrong. But overall, a normal person who is actually not Krishna conscious, you put your heart behind him, you need to have some distance. Correct? Otherwise, you have a lot of energy and time. If it is, say, we are reading Bhagavad Gita, the war, we are taking, there is a dvanda there, war is happening. We definitely go to the side of Krishna. We are happy Krishna won the war. Krishna always wins all the war. He never loses. But then what happens? That doesn't disturb you. But a normal dvanda of the world, you get stuck into the politics of the world, which is not, see, even if suppose you give all power, they cannot handle it. They are not pure devotees. Correct? The world will not become Krishna conscious because of them. They hardly know what is Krishna consciousness. Okay? So therefore, there is need to be some level of gap. And there are various kinds of dvanda. My country is better than China. My country is better than Pakistan. Every day, Pakistan is bad. You go to devotees of preaching in Pakistan, they will not say like that. You go to devotees of preaching in China. I am going to Mayapur. Please come. I'll introduce Sannyasis of preaching in China. You'll be shocked. This is so nice devotees. And they will introduce to you so many sweet Chinese devotees. Correct? So these dvandas are created, for so much example. And it's, see, every time you have now, India should greater than China, India greater than Pakistan, India greater than this, BJP better than Congress, like you develop that thing in your mind. Now, every day you have taken, you would say mind is what you said, opinized. Now he has to win. He has to win. BJP has to win in argument. They said that said that. So you have already, it has to go up. It has to go up. Whatever is psychologically, what you share, you try to push. No, we as a movement should stay apolitical as a movement, and individually also, little keep a distance. Now, when you go to vote, definitely you are definitely going to favor a party which encourages ban on cow slaughter, which encourages, something. But pure devotion, they themselves don't. Okay.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
So continuation of text 6.7 to 6.9. Mundane scholarship is just not going to help. Bookish knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. This is a statement from Srila Prabhupada. And how to realize knowledge? For this, Srila Prabhupada quotes a verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grayam indriyai sevan mukhehi jivado swayam eva spurati adaha. That is, without engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, we are not going to realize the knowledge. The knowledge, Dhyana, is not going to convert into Vijnana. Prabhuji, can I read the translation of this verse?
I want some devotee to explain this verse. This is one of the diamond of the verses, which is so much applied. Who would like to explain this verse? Ata Shri Krishna Namadhi na bhavet grayam indriyai sevun mukhe jivadau swayameva spurati adaha. Anybody? I think many diamond devotees are there. Who would like to explain this verse? It's a great pleasure to even remember this verse we use for preaching. Those who are all teaching should cram this verse. It's a very beautiful verse for teaching. Who will explain this verse? Anybody? Chalo bhai, so many I see beautiful devotees there. Take it up, explain this verse.
Seen anyone put their hands up yet?
Yeah, there are so many amazing devotees. Yeah, please start.
Nobody. Anyone? No.
Okay. Prabhuji, you explain this word, Prana Prabhu. Explain word by word.
Yes, Prabhuji. Ataha means hence Shri Krishna Namadi. Lord Shri Krishna's name, Nam Adi, name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Na bhavet grayam indriye. It is not possible to assimilate, to understand Lord Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes by our material senses. Sevan mukhehi jivado. Only when we engage all our senses, starting with jiva, starting with one's tongue, then Lord Krishna, Swayam Eva Spurati Adaha. Lord Krishna, only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord, are the transcendental name, form, quality, and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him. So not by our material senses, but only through the service, starting with one's tongue.
Beautiful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Just to add something, Nam Adi. Adi means the beginning. Beginning with the name. The Lord's service presently, anybody doing service, first we say chant, because beginning of service is chanting. And Jiv Adau, Sevon Mukhe, again the service from the tongue. So tongue is very important. So we have to become Sevon Mukha, service attitude, not Bahir Mukha. There is a Bahir Mukha, so many other mukhas. You have to become Sevon Mukha, means service attitude to the Lord. See, presently in the metal world, we are locked in the metal body, and it is not possible for us to perceive or appreciate the presence of the Lord, which is manifested in the form of who knows the shloka Mahaprasade Govinda? Nobody sings that shloka before taking prasada. Mahaprasade, chalo, Puja Vrinda Mataji, yes? Yes, Mataji.
Mahaprasade Govinde, Nama Brahmani Vaishnave, Salpa Punya Akatam Rajan, Vishwasaneva Jayate.
Okay. So, Rohini Mataji, don't worry about the Zoom links. Please don't worry. Any free accounts are available. 40 minutes, then join again. That's why we ran the course in the beginning. Don't worry. Zoom accounts, don't worry. Make any account. Zoom is free. Every email ID, you can make a free account. Okay, na? And use it. 40 minutes later, say, we will again come in, again join. Okay? Otherwise, it will so many circles. For me also, it is difficult to provide accounts. Use it yourself. Okay, done. If you find some free account your teachers are having, we can use it. Okay, done. Yes, fantastic, Sevan Mataji. So Mahaprasada Govinde, anything about the Mahaprasada, Lord is present in the word as Mahaprasad. That's the first thing we appreciated in ISKCON, isn't it? Very nice. And you appreciated Prasadam, it is Krishna only. You appreciated Krishna. You did some service. Govinda, you appreciated Govinda. Nama of the Lord. Brahmana, the great devotee, Brahmana Vaishnava. Swalpa punya, but little punya, you don't develop faith. Vishwasha na eva jayate. To develop faith in this Nama of the Lord, the Vigraha of the Lord, and the Shastra of the Lord, great devotees of the Lord, you require real special mercy. And to get that, Swalpa punya will not have. You need more punya. You need to be more serious. So when Sevur Mukha nature, suppose you go to the Lord, like Lord Chaitanya went to Jagannatha, he fainted and loved. And somebody can go to the temple, but some piece of wood there. Both are possible. As the same, the Lord will reciprocate. But when you go in a service spirit, the Lord will reveal himself. So that is the secret. You know, the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is also called most confidential chapter. And we say Bhagavad Gita is giving confidential, more confidential, most confidential. The point is, that's the key. You need a key to open this confidential feature of the Lord. Correct? You need a key. Unless you have a key, you cannot open a locker. So you need a key to open this very confidential feature of the Lord. Save one mukha. And what is that key? Key, service spirit. Just like I have 1 crore rupee with me and locker. You need a key. So where is the key? Save one mukha, service spirit. Moment you have service spirit, Krishna is very pleased and he reveals himself. Without service spirit, to the degree, Prabhupada says rather, to the degree you develop service attitude, to that degree God will reveal himself. It's logical, reasonable also. Because only that to that level you can handle his presence. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna keeps telling Arjuna, Arjuna, because you're not envious of me, I want to tell you more about myself. So do you invite, suppose you have a friend, do you give all your money to him in his hand on the first day? No, we develop trust. But based on we developing a relationship to the Lord, we are a dasa, our relationship is always a servant. Krishna reveals himself. It's a jewel, diamond of our verses. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi, beginning with the name. Name, then he says form. So first thing in spiritual life given to all of us is the name. So we do need to force ourselves, keep some time aside for attentively hearing the Nama. How much somebody is serious. You know, I had an opportunity in Mangalore to do work on the volunteers. So they used to come, big temple, a lot of people used to come. I said, all of the boys, you go below and chant. I'll give service to somebody. They used to say, Prabhu, I also want to sell books with you. I had a book counter. I said, go below, go to the reading, the lecture hall, all sit and chant. Then I used to silently go there and see how they're chanting. And if I see somebody closing his eyes chanting, Hare Krishna, immediately I have to catch him, come, take him. He got it. Because unless somebody is very submissively, attentively, seriously chanting Hare Krishna, his spiritual life will not begin. Or even if it has begun, it may close very soon. Because of real pleasure, unless you have spiritual pleasure, you will run for better pleasure. We want pleasure at the end of the day. And spiritual pleasure doesn't come free. You have to be serious. That is called sahajiya. To some element, all of us are sahajiya. We are not serious. Bhagavad Gita also, you see, what does Krishna say? Don't give the Gita to people, message, who are not austere, who are not controlling their senses, who are not devoted to me, who are not engaged in devotional service, and who is envious of me. 5 kind of people, 18th chapter. The same way, those qualities are there within us. So we should develop service spirit, and when service spirit develops, Krishna will reveal. And first service spirit develop, therefore he says, Nam Adau, beginning with the name. Now, Acharya Prabhupada has given you the name to serve. That is also Krishna. When you serve the Nama properly, then he will reveal the form. When you serve the form properly, then he will reveal all the transcendental name. When you chant, name is spiritual. Then he will read the form and you will That's also spiritual. Then you will reveal the qualities, the pastimes, and then presently Nama Smarana, it will end in Leela Smarana. You will be totally absorbed in Samadhi on Krishna Leela, totally transcendental platform. It's not emotional platform. Please always be clear. Bhakti is not emotional. Bhakti is transcendental and spiritual. So when you reach the spiritual platform, then the highest perfection of life, Leela Smarana. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so this is the last slide for today. So such a person on a yoga route platform is a Krishna conscious person, is a realized soul. And some of the characteristics of such a person are given in this last part of this section, where he's mentioned as he's satisfied in his devotional service. Therefore, he has realized knowledge by the grace of Krishna. He is steady in his convictions based on the strength of his realized knowledge. He is self-controlled by the strength of his realized knowledge. And he regards the mundane scholarship and the mental speculation as good as pebbles or stone. So he doesn't give too much emphasis or importance to mundane scholarship and mental speculation. So these are the characteristics of a self-realized person, a Krishna conscious person. And how to achieve this stage is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, is through the association of one of a devotee of the Lord who is in pure consciousness. Otherwise, this stage cannot be attained simply by one's mere mundane scholarship. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chaitanya. Anna, everybody is grateful to him.
Yeah, very.
Anna, so neat.
Very.
And he speaks so softly, gently. See, cannot be understood a mundane spell. He speaks so gently without hurting anybody. You tell me, I will insult 10 people like a snob. He speaks in total Krishna consciousness. Very nice, Prabhuji. You pray to Krishna, you become better devotee. Thank you for your service. Take care. Okay, so Sevon Mukha, you can learn from him. Yes. So now this is done. So we can have a little break.
Yeah.
And I think 5 minutes we give a total break to people.
Yeah.
And then after that, I can talk about my book, my favorite.
And then we also have presentations, 2 presentations.
Yes, Prabhuji. Today, who all are there, Mataji?
Today there is Murli Karriji and Ankit Prabhuji. 2 of them are there.
So I think how much? We give 7 minutes, people, to somebody wants to refresh himself. 12:05 we start.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Prabhuji. And Kirtan, somebody will do the Kirtan.
Who is the Kirtan? Bhajan Mandali?
I think Mannaji, you're there?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, all yours.
Yes, Mataji. Just a minute, Mataji. हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री मधुसूदन गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री मधुसूदन गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः श्री चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत सीता हरि गुरु वैष्णव भगवते गीता श्री चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत सीता हरि गुरु वैष्णव भागवत गीता हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः ईश गोसाई करी चरण वंदन जहाँ होइते विघ्न नाश अभिष्ट पूरन ईश गोसाई करी चरण वंदन जहाँ होइते विघ्न नाश अभिष्ट पूरन हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः ईश गोसाई जार मुई तार दास तामस बात पदरेनु मोरा पंचग्रास ईश गोसाई जार मुई तार दास तामस बात पदरेनु मोरा पंचग्रास हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः तांदेर चरण सेवी भक्त श्रीनिवास जन्मे जन्मे होइए अभिलाष तांदेर चरण सेवी भक्त श्रीनिवास जन्मे जन्मे होइए अभिलाष हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः ईश गोसाई जबे ब्रजे कुलावास राधा कृष्ण नित्य लीला करेला प्रकाश ईश गोसाई जबे ब्रजे कुलावास राधा कृष्ण नित्य लीला करेला प्रकाश आनंदे बोलो हरि ब्रज वृंदावन आनंदे बोलो हरि भज वृंदावन श्री गुरु वैष्णव पदे मजा यमन आनंदे बोलो हरि भज वृंदावन श्री गुरु वैष्णव पदे मजा यमन हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः श्री गुरु वैष्णव पाद पदम करियास श्री गुरु वैष्णव पाद पदम करियास नाम संकीर्तन कहे नरोत्तम दास नाम संकीर्तन कहे नरोत्तम दास श्री गुरु वैष्णव पाद पदम कोरियास नाम संकीर्तन कहे नरोत्तम दास हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Manna, you finished?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Mataji, presentation ready?
Yeah. So, Murliji, you want to go first? Murliji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I'll
Mataji,
make
I
you a
can.
co-host. Just give me a minute. I'll make you a co-host, and you can share your screen. Yeah, you're a co-host, Murliji.
Okay. How do we share screens?
Yeah, you'll get a little tab there.
Yes.
A little icon is
Yes, yes, I see.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Okay.
Yeah. Can you go to the presentation mode?
Now,
yeah.
Yes, I will put it on the presentation. Okay.
Good, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. I'll go to the previous slide first. Okay. Today's presentation, Hare Krishna devotees, today's presentation is about mind and sense control. And this presentation I prepared with a view from a not as a novice to a complete bhakti. What are the processes one needs to go, and what is stated in Bhagavad Gita as to how you achieve these various states. Okay. To begin with, I always thought about what is who am I? Okay. So a human body, it's not moving. Okay, let me just see. A little bit of trouble for me. Yes, the human body, if we have seen, it has gone to the previous screen. Next screen. So the human body is really made of 24 elements. Yes, some of them are gross, some of them are subtle elements, some of them are gross elements, and then there are various inputs, there are various outputs, and various different forms. All of them comprise about 24 of them. Yes, then all these are actually driven by one, which is known as the consciousness or Chaitanya. And lastly, as we have read it many times in Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya, there are two parts. One is the Atma, and the second is the Paramatma, all sitting together in our heart, and they're watching us all the time. Yeah. So I don't have to go through each one of these tattvas and the characteristics of the gross and the subtle elements, because the next part I will be dealing with in the diagram which I have prepared for this. I go to the next slide. Today my computer is a bit slow, so I need to be patient. Yes. Now, if you look at the figuratively, the human body basically consists of certain inputs. There is a processing and there is an output. Okay. So the inputs are, sorry, the inputs are, it's written as karmendriyas. No, it is not karmendriyas. These are the gyanendriyas, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and skin, which is reflected by sight, sound, smell, taste, and feel. Each one of them exactly showing those so similarly. Then on the processing part, the human body, this basically consists of mind, intelligence, ego, and memory. Mano, chitta, buddhi, ahankara. Yeah, and mind is mano, buddhi is intelligence, ahankara is ego. There are two types there, false ego and the real good ego, which is both are necessary for us to live. Then memory, yes. Then we are also made up of panchabhutas. That is, our body has a physical, the material nature of our body. The material nature of our body consists of five major elements: the earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Now, some of them are very not clearly seen, like fire, you cannot see it. Air, you cannot see it, and the ether, we cannot see it inside. But these are all present, and these are all physical aspects only. Then you have the when you have the sight and when you have the gyanendriyas, and when they come in together with the human bodies, the mano, buddhi, chitta, and ahankara, the processing, the mind itself, it gives certain actions, and are these actions which we come out uh, are like in the form of a form. You draw a picture, or if it's sound, when you say something, uh, or when you do a bhajana, that's it comes out in the form of a sound. Then you have scent. Scent is when you smell something. Yes, and of course taste. When you eat something, you can taste it, and then you have touch it. So there is a relationship between all of them. Yeah, the one which are written in dark colors are actually the physical aspects of it, and then the physical energies, and then the one which are written in a very lighter way is actually the subtle parts. Yeah, like for example, sight, sound, smell, these are very subtle. Mind, intelligence, ego, they are also subtle. So is the form. We finally we see the form of a painting, but then the action going through that form is actually very subtle, and that is what is important. Yeah, mind, uh, sight, sound, smell, taste, and feel. I put a arrow which is both ways, because one of the key things is eyes can see something, but eyes can see only what the mind tells it to see. So there is a there's a two-way process. Yes. uh, just a question, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu,
Yes.
can
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, that's clear. So I just got it out. So that's a very important point, is that, and then this brings us to the part of our questions which we are talking about, mind and sense control. So the senses are actually, the senses are controlled by the mind, and the mind is also controlled by the senses. There is a two-way process. But then the output which comes out, our actions are a relation of are related to what the sight, what the senses we have, and what the processing the mind does. Okay, so what we do, what we appear, what we think, what we are, is a result of these two. That's why sense and mind control is very important for us, uh, not only as a bhakt, but also as a human being in general. I go to the next slide, wherein I kind of provided from our chapter guidance as to uh, how the there is one point I missed out. There is a little dot here. That's what the Chaitanya, yeah, and this full circle out there is the Lord, okay, the universe, and we are driven by the smallest of the dots, okay. uh, the next one is a slide is about the chapters which we have and the verses which are related to it. Okay. Next. Last view. Where is next? Yes. See, this chapter on mind control has been given in various chapters. Chapter 2, which gives a general description of what it is. Chapter 3, Karma Yoga. Chapter 4, Jnana Yoga. I think chapter 6 is Dhyana Yoga. Chapter 8, chapter 9, 12, 16, and 18. So these are the various verses which are covered, and I tried to describe each of some verses. I put it as it is, and some verses I just gave the purpose of Srila Prabhupada, and some I gave my own a kind of a short synopsis of what it is said. So I go to the next one, which is chapter 2. Yes. Now, the chapter 2 is basically when we read it, it's more of a definitions chapter. It gives us a lot of definitions. It gives us what Lord wants to tell us in a very simple way, and what he is trying to give everything. He thought that Arjuna could understand straight away. Therefore, he gave things very simply. Now, there are two parts, one is the Stitadir Muni. Yes. Now, this is an important state in which a person who, at the end of when you have your mind and sense control, you reach that stage where you have not disturbed by happiness or sorrow. You're free from attachment, fear, and anger. Yes. And he is not affected by action of somebody else's outcome or his outcome. And what about him? Where does he live? He's lives on a pragya pratitishthata. Now, pragya pratitishthata, this position is called, he's fixed in the perfect knowledge, or he's staying in the soul. He's seated on the soul. Yes. And this position in many cases is also called pramadi. Yes. Now, very nice description of it is given on the 48th sloka, which says, Yada samharate chayam karmo yanginiva sarvashah indriyani indriyarte vyastasya pragya pratihistati. Now, he is compared to a tortoise. A tortoise has this habit that it takes out all its limbs, uses it only when it is able to walk, okay, or when it has to perform actions. Once it is completed, it just goes back into tortoise puts its limbs back in. Now, the importance of the word, the animal tortoise is there, because tortoise is, in many Vedic literatures, it is also compared to a monkey. Tortoise and monkey have the same, heart size. But a monkey has a lifespan of 14 years, where a tortoise has a span of 100 plus years. Now, that is compared to the fact that tortoise is able to control its senses, and that is why it is. We have been told to work like a tortoise, to use our senses only when it is required, and not to use them when they are not required. I go to the next slide. This is the Karma Yoga. Yes. What now here? Lord gives us the root cause of unhappiness. Why most of the time we people, why are we unhappy most? So the most important one is, he says, Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samuddha bhavaha Mahashano Mahapapnam Vidya Nimi Vairinam. Now, this is, he has described it in a, I put it in a diagrammatic form on the right side. You have a lust, you have the passion. When you have lust and the passion, then you call unhappiness. And this is always the root cause of unhappiness. What about lust? Now, the lust, how does it look? How does it work? And this is what he explained in the next sloka, which says, Durmena vriyate vihvat dasho malena cha yatol yatol bena vruto garbhastatha tene mavrutam. Now, he has compared it to the three types. The first one is durmenyo navriyate. So it is like a smoke covering the fire. Yes. Then the other one is a mirror covering dust covering the mirror. Now this is the dust covering the mirror. The first one is the last one on the right is the smoke. Yes, and the third one is like a child who is in the womb of a mother. If you see that in all these cases, the, the important thing is these are not seen. Yes, they are all covered. So similarly, we are all covered with, because of we are at various stages of Maya, we are all covered with it. Yes. Now the next part is Lord gives us the relationship between lust, sense, and intelligence. Yeah. So evam buddhe param buddhva sansta bhayatman matmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kama rupa duratmana. Now here he says very clearly that the one, if one has to be transcendental, he has to be much above the thing. So there, Lord has given that those at the bottom of the rung is the one which doesn't have senses, like a dead body, then or any other material. Then you have the senses. Yes, above the senses is the mind, and above the mind is the intelligence, and above the intelligence is a transcendentalist. Now, represented the transcendentalist in the blue dot. Okay, so one who lives again the message is the same, is that one who lives on the transcendental path. Yes, automatically all these three are under control. Yeah. So the karma yoga, he gives us the root causes of happiness and how that happiness, how that lust is, and then how we can control it over it, how we can control it. That's what is given in the chapter 3. Then I go to the chapter 4. Yes. Then I go to chapter 16. This is very important. I kind of made a differentiation here. Didn't follow a thing. Didn't follow the flow. Yes. The reason is the impact of having the lust, anger, what it is described in chapter 16. Therefore, I broke off from the normal flow and jumped to chapter 16. Now, here we have Trividam Narkasyedam Dvaram Nashanam Matmanah Kama Krodastada Lobasta Samadeta Trayam Trejet. So there are three negative forces which are always present in us, which are anger, lust, anger, and greed. Okay, so as Prabhupada's put it, yes, who is given living with these three enemies within us, we cannot kill them, then there will be no possibility of liberation from this material entanglement. So the link between the chapter 3 and chapter 16, I found it in this place. Yes. Then go to the next slide, which is chapter 4. Yes. Now, this is about the transcendental knowledge. Yes, transcendental knowledge we know is the highest knowledge where we are with the Krishna. But chapter 4 is about transcendental knowledge, and then how do we attain it? By mind control. Yeah, one of the first one is uh, by controlling your what you hear. Okay, there the Lord says, Shrotra Dinindra Yanyanye Samyamagni Juhvati Shabdadi Nishvayanya Indriya Gona Juhvate. So some who sacrifice. So one of the key parts is some of us can sacrifice the smell, the sense of hearing, by cutting off noise so that you only hear about the lost, and others also sacrifice smell and taste to achieve the loss. So there are this is basically giving us a negative way of doing things, is you are sacrificing the things. So the first part of all this is covered is about negative way of how to not do certain things. Then how do we achieve self-realization? The So how do one who has a goal of self achieve it? By controlling mind, by offering the function of all senses and breath into fire of controlled mind. So now this is what is the translation. So the sloka, I will leave it now, not speak about it. Yes. Then there are other means of self-realization. The there are four certain methods which have been stated in there. They are following the principle of Ashtanga Yoga, studying the scriptures, yes, are one or the two methods which have been suggested in the scriptures, in the Bhagavad Gita. I move to the chapter 5. This is Karma Yoga. Now this is a very important chapter, because here the Lord gives us how one can be happy. But that's one of the key parts. Yehi sansparshaja bhogo dukkheyonya evate adyanta vanta kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. So now he's here, Srila Prabhupada has written in his purpose, material sense pleasures are due to contact of the material senses, which are all temporary, because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary, knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasure. So it's very, in this place also it is very clear how do we achieve it, is that not to have enjoyment in the sense pleasures. Yeah. The next sloka also treats with this and gives us how do we know how we are making progress in our path towards self-realization. And so Shekhano Hitve Sodum Prakash, I'm finding it difficult to read the sloka, I'll leave it here, but I'll read the purport. If one wants to make steady progress on the path of self-realization, he must try to control the forces of material senses. There are the forces of talk, forces of anger, forces of mind, forces of stomach, forces of genitals. Basically all the Gyanendriyas, forces of the tongue. One who is able to control these different senses, the mind, one can go on the path of self-realization, and then we can see ourselves making the progress. So basically there are two parts given here. The first part is the positive way of doing it, and the second one is how the negative way of it. You control you curb your actions, you curb your sentences, and then you move forward on it. The next one will be on the Dhyana Yoga, which is covered. So chapter 5. Now here I picked up a general Dhyana Yoga, what we call this as the Ashtanga Yoga. Now Ashtanga Yoga are 8 limbs, yamas, the roots, which is what not to do, yes, what to do, niyamas, part 2, which is what to do, yeah. Then with this The third part is one sits in a place that is known as asana or a posture with your yama, niyama, and asana. You concentrate on your breathing. That's known as pranayama. Prana is life force or a breath, and then yama is a kind of a process. Then fifth is and the fifth one is pratyahara, turning awareness inwards. Yeah. Then sixth is concentrated. So so in pratyahara, what you do is you make sure that your senses are under control and you keep a control on your senses. Then in dharana, you go and concentrate at one certain points. That is dhyana, seventh one, and eighth is samadhi. Now, samadhi is the most stateful state, the transcendental state, and that has been compared to a fruit. So this slide I actually picked up from on the internet site, looking through how to describe the Ashtanga Yoga. So the next one, Dhyana Yoga, the one point which is said is importance of the mind. Yes, so mind is a friend and an enemy. I think today we have covered this. I don't want to go into the details of this because Prana Chaitanya Prabhu has covered all four, 6.7 to 6.9 in a very nice way, explaining us what is how mind can be both a friend and an enemy. Yeah, and this is mind is always present. Mind is there every time we are alive. As long as we are alive, we can use it to our benefit. We can use it to everyone's good, and we can also use it bad. And then when you use it for bad, then we become a a villain. Yes. The next slide is all about dhyana. Now, dhyana is, I explained this in the tree itself, how it goes. Yes. So there are three parts which has been given. What is what one should do, the positive. The second is what one should discipline. That's the negative actions. What one can not, I will call it not the negative, but that the preventative actions. And the last but not the least is the result of these two practices, what will bring. Okay. So a person what one should do, he should always engage his body and mind in relationship with the Supreme. You should be free from desires, feelings, and possessiveness. Live. Then Lord says that such a person should also live in a secluded place, should always carefully control his mind. You see that yogi who is sitting in a secluded place, he's controlling his mind. He's sitting on a grass. He's covered it with some kind of other covering, and then he's doing the dhyana. Yeah. One point which has been clearly said in all the Ashtanga Yoga is our body, neck, and head should always be erect, steady, and one should stare at the tip of the nose. Now, there is a reason for straight line posture for body, head, and neck, and that is that it allows your pranic energies to flow in very up and down your body in a very rhythmical and resistance-less path. Yes, and that would allow you to think about the Lord. Yeah, and while one is doing this, he has achieved it in a very what you call it as a transcendental situation where mind and regulatory control is there. Yes, for such a person who is gone on this path, there are a few things which one should regulate, that is have some control on. One is on the sleep, at least eat what is necessary, but at the same time should not starve himself. Sleep to what is necessary again. Recreation and work are also important because human mind needs this to have a perfect balance. Yes, but at the same time, these should not be having material desires. Yes, so in such a situation, a person is well established in the yoga. Yeah. Now, again, what does this lead to? Again, Stita Dirmuni, the first definition I gave in chapter 2, which is provided in chapter 2. Such a yogi is like a unflickering lamp in a storm. Yeah. So he's in a perfect trance or samadhi. It's completely controlled. His mental activities practiced by yoga. He's in full state of joy, understands what is truth, and is never disturbed with any difficulty. So he's in a so that is his state. The state of mind is very important there. And how can one achieve this? One can achieve this by practice, constant practice, controlling the senses, by observing the progress with sangha, as we learned today in the class, by associating with people with similar thoughts. Yes, and with this, when a person is fixed on the Krishna, attains transcendental happiness and realizes qualitative identity with the Supreme, and and with this he's actually free from any kind of karmic reactions of not only this life but also the previous lives as well. But as Lord said, is it possible to do something like this? Krishna has been very clear with Arjuna in his dialogue. He says very clearly, asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigraha chalam abhyasena tu kauntena vairagyana cha gruhyate. O son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. So it's very. Then he goes on to say, as ayam sata asaya atmana yogo dushprapa iti me mati vashyam atmana tu yatat shakyo vapu tu mupapayatah. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is very difficult, but he whose mind is controlled, who strives by appropriate means, is assured of success. That is my opinion. Now, this is the opinion of Lord Hari Hari Bol. I'm not. We cannot say anything much about it. Very clear. The message is that it's difficult to control our mind, and that is where Lord leaves us to the next parts. Yes. Now, this chapter 7 is all about the absolute. Yes. So there, Krishna tells what is the absolute. We are aiming for something, but what is it? You say, I want to wait the absolute. What is it? Yes. The truth is, everything, there is no truth superior to Krishna. Everything rests upon him, as pearls are strung on a thread. So this is these. I just picked up the meanings of each of the slokas and coming to the last one. So what is it? What is it that is transcendental? He is the taste of the water, is the light of the sun and the moon. He's the Om in the Vedic mantras, and he is the sound in the ether and ability in man. He is the original fragrance of earth and the heat in fire. He is the life of all the life, and he is the penances of all ascetics. So he is intelligence of indulgence, he is the prowess of all powerful, he is the strength of the strong, and he is the devoid of passion and desires. He is the sex life which is not contrary to religious purposes. Knows that all states of being, be passion or ignorance, are manifested by his energy, and he is the sense. Everything is everything. He is independent, and everyone is controlled by him. And he is deluded. He is not affected by the three modes of goodness, passion, or ignorance. The whole world does not know me, who am. He's above the modes and inaccessible. And therefore, he finally gives the last stage, stanza. I think it's 7.14. Devi homsho gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. The divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered onto me can easily cross beyond it. So this is the message again given by the Lord, that surrendering to him is what is important to achieve our the transcendental state. Next, go to the chapter 12, which is about devotional service and what is perfect renunciation. Yeah, go once. Oh, yes. Okay. So how do we do the devotional service? Now, devotional service is also, he's given a principle of doing a devotional service, that is fix the mind on the Lord, or fix the mind on the Lord, and always think about him, always while doing any of the activities. Okay, one moment please, sorry for the troubles. Okay, so how do we achieve this? How do we achieve the transcendentalist? That is where Lord is now telling us. He's just fix your mind upon me, the supreme, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Yeah. Then in the last chapter, what is perfect renunciation has been given by the Lord. In such a state of mind, yes, we are completely purified by his intelligence, controlling the mind with determination, giving up the object of sense gratification, being freed from attachment, hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, power of speech, who is always in trance, who is detached from false ego. All these are people who are able to achieve the transcendentalist. But we are not like him. We cannot go to a secluded place and live. We have our material body. We have our uh, related to our material body, we have our material attachments, and we have our material duties to perform. So how do we do for such a person? And for that, the Lord has given the answer in chapter 9 and repeated in chapter 15. Yes, that is part of Bhakti Yoga. And this is a sloka which is repeated 2 times. That's a very important point I found it. Is that yes, this sloka comes 2 times in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, 34, and chapter 18, 65, I think. Yeah, and the sloka is the same, except that in the first part, Lord addresses everyone, and in the second part, the Bhagavan addresses just Krishna, just Arjuna. So let me read this beautiful shloka. Manmana bhava madbhakta madhaji mam namaskaru mame vaishyasi yuktva matman matparayana. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, worship me, be completely absorbed in surely you will come to me. So that is what he said in chapter 9. Yeah. Now this he has repeated it in chapter 10. He said all these things, except that he told one additional things. This, I'm telling you, this is the most secret knowledge. I think it is called the Guhyatanam. And he's told this to Krishna, and he said, I'm telling it to you because you are my dear friend. Yes. So what is the message? If you want to achieve the transcendental position of the Lord, that the Lord, then you have only one approach. You can take many approaches. You can start with karma. You can go to Gyana, then you can go to Dhyana. But as Lord has suggested, the Bhagwan has stated very clearly, it is the Bhakti. And in the Bhakti, you can see that Rishikesha is holding all the senses, the five horses are under his control, the Rishikesha's control. And we, as a complete devotee, surrender to him to achieve our goals. So I think with this, I come to the end of my presentation. Any questions, Prabhu? Devotee, any questions?
Yeah.
No, Prabhu. Very nice explanation.
So
Very well structured. Now, this is my way of learning for the exam, preparing for the exam, Prabhu.
thank you.
Very nice presentation, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Well, thank you. So if this presentation, if no more questions, yeah, if no more questions, I have few people to say thank you for this presentation, Prabhu. The first one is Neetu. Neetu, who is in my group, she has given me the slides, the template slides to prepare. Yes. Then actually I have to say sorry to my group because I couldn't, I started the meeting, but I did not allow them to join the meeting, because of which they all missed it. And of course, I like to thank my family for giving me the space to study and able to tell this, prepare and present it to you all. Thank you, Prabhu.
You can stop share your screen, Prabhuji.
Yes, I'm trying to do that. Oops, got out. Okay, 1 minute. Just give it. I'm not sharing anymore.
Okay, Prabhuji, are you there?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
1 second. Let me. It's going to be 12:45. So let's check with. Let's do a time check with all our devotees.
Yes, Mataji. No issue.
This presentation took 45 minutes.
Yes,
Everybody, are you in for another presentation?
Sure, Mataji. Yes, sure.
That's just one voice. What about the Prabhuji, you wanted to, I don't know, where's Ramanishta Das Prabhuji? Prabhuji, are you there? Ramanishta Das Prabhuji is not there. Okay.
I think if it's like a 15 minutes is okay.
Yeah, I think it's a little
okay.
longer because it's getting into our other things.
Yeah, I think. Sorry for that.
Too wrong, too. It was long. Yeah, but I know the subject that you had so much to present as well. It's not your fault, Prabhuji. I don't know. Ankit Prabhuji, how long will your presentation be? Because everybody wants it short. So I don't want you to be constrained by time. If it's going to be long, it shall be long, but maybe it'll be on another day. So Ankit Prabhuji, how long is your presentation?
Mataji, minimum it will take 20 minutes.
20 minutes. So, yeah, 20 minutes, a little longer also, na? With technical things coming. So half an hour rakhenge. So Prabhuji, where is Prabhuji? Prabhuji.
He sits here all day long. I think it's fine. We let him take a break and then maybe continue our recital.
Yeah.
We may continue in next lecture.
We can delay. Somebody is saying we can delay the next presentation. I think we are not in a position to hear another presentation. Yeah?
Yes.
We are not in a position because I think all of you have prepared so much.
Yes,
if our mind is not there, I don't think it's going to help, right?
But it is study into the lunch hour also.
Yeah, it's also lunch hours. A lot of people who are seniors as well in this group. So let's not rush into a presentation.
Yes, Mataji, no issue.
It doesn't matter.
Mine is about 4 a.m.
Yeah, no, I think go ahead, Mataji. I thought we'll just wait for Prabhuji because he wanted to say something about Mayapur.
Sure. Maybe we can have some statements.
Yeah. So Ankit Prabhuji, we can probably shift yours. Maybe we have even Pramod Dubeji is also there. So maybe we'll organize. We'll reschedule. We'll probably do a little bit of a reschedule again. Okay.
Okay, no issue, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Sorry, yeah.
No issue, Mataji.
All of you are presenting so great. I mean, you're doing so much of good research and presenting. Obviously, we can't put a time on your presentation. So, where is Namanishta Prabhudas? Namanishta Prabhudas ji, kahan hai?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It was a great presentation, but a long presentation. A lot of us are tired, and not really in a shape to have another long presentation.
Okay. We can have next time.
You wanted to talk about the Mayapur trip.
Oh,
yeah.
Some people are there. Some people are
So we're waiting for that. Yeah.
Oh, Mayapur is so beautiful.
You had some announcements regarding that, Prabhuji.
Mayapur already, I think I have been showing you as it has been developing. We have been developing this. This is our, what do you say, Yatra, and details are now getting more clear. This is our proper Samadhi, which is a take blessings of Srila Prabhupada. It's Samadhi first Guru's darshan. Then the Radha Madhav, beautiful deities installed by Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur. With the Panchatattva, very beautiful deities. They have to make a platform to do Abhishek again. You see this? It's a huge deities, Panchatattva. This is the ISKCON temple, which is almost ready. We are privileged to get peek inside the largest temple, maybe I think Angkor Wat. I think this is the temple. And this is Navadvipa, because divided into 9 islands. Ganga has cut it into 9 pieces, and they're all wonderful names and a lot of pastimes of the Lord in all. This is a very holy place. There are a lot of pastimes in this place. Birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. It will be a great pleasure to go there. Shima Sagar, where Lord Chaitanya is to dance with his. Sorry. My weakness, the devotee. This is Chaitanya Math, first Math established of Prabhupada's Guru, but in the Prabhupada, there are so many things to see there, including his Samadhi. And this is Lord Chaitanya and Shadbhuja Murti, very beautiful Gandharvika Giridhari deities there. This is Jagannath at Rajpur. Jagannath Puri is manifest in Mayapur, Navadip, you can see. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's deity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas when he was 24-year-old. So, his wife, 16-year-old that time. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never came back. And whole life, she chanted. And she used to, after chanting certain number of rounds, she used to take one, chanting certain time, she would get 1 grain aside. Like that, little rice collected, she used to eat it and survive. And whole day chant. She served Lord Chaitanya deity like this. This is a very famous deity, Dhameshwar Mahadev temple. Okay, and then this is Jagannath Das Babaji Samadhi. He's a great Acharya in our Parampara. Bhakti Thakur house and Samadhi. This is Bhakti Thakur who launched the whole movement, pioneered the movement in recent age. Very beautiful Harihar Kshetra, we'll explain in that also. A lot of pastimes are here. Ganga Puja, Ganga Snan, so this all is part of it. We had already 3 slots, 13, 10 and 7.5. And some more requests came, can we reduce? I cannot reduce these costs because this is, I don't do it at a loss because money is for temple construction. So I called a Mayapur. They have come up with something, dormitory kind of accommodation. So maybe I'll bring one slot maybe around at 5 or 6, maybe 2 slots, 5. But it will be very simple accommodation. So that is something more added to that. But somebody is fine, little pinching whole family, I can give you simple accommodation. So this opportunity is there till 15, 3 more days. Because then I have to release the rooms which I don't want, and it will be open to public online booking. They are presently, all the booking in Mayapur is locked because of my request. No booking happening October 25th to 30th. It is locked for us. So I will be releasing on 15th so that they can take other booking. Otherwise, the loss for them. Correct? Okay, so I have 3 more days. Please make a decision. Mayapur is very, very, very beautiful. I was yesterday seeing a beautiful videos of Mayapur. I did share with devotee. Just give me a moment. Then anybody has any questions on this? There are a lot of people I was just calling, oh Prabhu, I have one question, I have this question, I have that question. No questions anybody has? Yeah. Oh, I'm Hitchki. I don't know why somebody is remembering this so strongly. They say. Yeah, this is a beautiful this way. You just type on the YouTube, you'll find a lot of Mayapur tours. This somebody has made going around the main campus.
Disposed in the Gyan. Go up onto the roof.
This is proper Samadhi.
The beauty of Mayapur. So this is a real focus. This is to charge that we have established this center to have a constant festival of the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Yes.
So this is Mayapur. It's a city. Actually, it's a city of ISKCON. Huge city, around 1,000 acres. Very nicely organized, beautiful temples, and most important, what I like about Mayapur, most beautiful devotees, full of devotees. There are 3,000 to 5,000 devotees living in Mayapur, and they are all senior devotees, proper disciples, many of them. Yes. Yes, Hare Krishna. Anybody have any question regarding Mayapur?
Prabhuji, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
On 30th of October, the program will be winding up. Will the
26, 27, 28, 29. 30th is a going day. We will drop you at airport or Havada, wherever you want, at whatever time you want. Okay?
I mean to say post breakfast time, we will be able to.
Depending on your flight. Suppose it is night, you don't need to go early morning. You can go by afternoon. Right? Unless you want to see Kolkata, you can go morning. So it's a big city, Kolkata. It's like Delhi, isn't it?
And again, on 25th, we will be coming. We are free to come by afternoon, evening, or morning. Is there
anything? Just let me know. See what happens. It's 3.5. Depends on the road has improved now, but 3 hours take it. Travel journey like Delhi to Vrindavan is 3 hours. Bangalore to Mysore is 3 hours. It's a 3-hour journey. Okay, so preferably there are some small trains, local trains also people use. But due to Corona, let us not use public transport as much as possible. We avoid. Take due care. And there are unreserved trains which we used to take, but we are not taking now. We will take the buses and the cars and whatever we will need. See what I'm making an Excel sheet. So people are telling me, okay, I'll land at 6 o'clock, I'll land at 8 o'clock, I'll land at 9 o'clock. Making a sheet based on the timing, and also Indian trains and flights are not like minute by minute. daily up and down. Mota mota, I'll make a figure and vehicles will be arranged, sizes depending on number of people landing, going to Mayapur regularly, whole day. Same way, reverse. Okay? Some
Prabhuji,
vehicle leaving from airport, some people leaving from Harvard. Huh?
One very basic question. Prabhuji, you will be with us in the entire tour of Mayapur.
There, I'm there. If Krishna so sanctions, I'm there. My ticket is already purchased.
Okay.
Always yatra has to start. First thing I do is buy one ticket, and I bought my ticket, and then the yatra starts. Otherwise, Prabhuji, that date, correct?
Prabhuji, the accommodation charges mentioned.
That is not accommodation charges.
Per
That
person?
is yatra charges.
That is
It's
per
not room.
person?
It is not room charges. It's it is per person, obviously. It's not room charges. It's a standard. You take luxury, you take economic, you take budget, and I'm introducing super budget, super budget also, because anybody feels a pinch. I don't want that. See, I cannot take money from temple construction, Tripura. I'll not do that. That listen. Yatra, what comes, I'll put it back there. Take it up. So these are all expenses in yatra. There are various things involved. Room is just maybe 20% of it. There is travel, there is prasadam, there are guides, so many things involved. We are bringing so many devotees also there to give you nice association, correct? A lot of expenses involved. Room is just part of it, but that is a variable area. Rest don't change. You get it? Room can change. So therefore I said, okay, you want AC room, it's very expensive, you have to pay more. You want normal economic attached bathroom, okay. I said, okay, you want still simpler. I got, yesterday I called, there some people, a family of 4 are finding, I can also understand. Pinching, is there some way? This is there. Then we can give, but then people should not say, Prabhuji, we are 5 in a room, don't speak all those things. But I'll arrange for you, still more economic. Okay. What is it? Super budget or super. But I tell you one thing. You know how we go for yatra? We sleep in tents. We don't stay in rooms ever. We have yatra in February, March. Okay? Mayapur, I've gone 30 years of my life. We don't stay in rooms. We stay in tents. We sleep on the floor. What bedding? No bedding. What AC? Yesterday somebody told me, is Wi-Fi really there? I said, better you don't come. What you are thinking about Wi-Fi? No, the Calcutta to Mangalore, Kolkata to Mayapur, the bus will be AC or non-AC? I said, the commode is Western commode, Indian commode. I said, please don't come. Don't mistake me. It will be difficult if you're calculating so much because I cannot take care of all that. See, there are the whole lodge which I booked, 150 rooms are there of different kinds. Some of the rooms, there may be one tap doesn't work and all. These all adjustments are there when you go for a yatra. You cannot expect everything will spick and span and every bulb will be working. They are there. We are on a yatra mode. We should be actually ready to lie on the floor, which we do. We do that during our yatra when we go. There is 20,000 people come around the world. And it's amazing. Sometimes I'll take it for that also. This is introduction yatra to Mayapur. Mayapur, once you go there, you will yourself keep going. Mayapur temple organizes. I don't have to be even involved in that. Mayapur temple in the website organizes. You register. It's very economic, but be ready. There is no vehicles. You have to walk. In a day, 25 kilometers also sometimes. But we don't walk. We keep dancing. In the night, we are 6 o'clock morning till 3 o'clock. We are walking. We walk through all the holy places and boats sometimes. No vehicles, no transport, no rooms, no cots on the floor. It's a great pleasure. Sometimes, but now we will not be used to that level of austerity. Okay? Maybe some of you will be excited for that. You can always check on the Mayapur website. That happens in February, March. Okay? That's called Navadi Mandal Parikrama, 20,000 people. This is what happens every year. Okay? So, but this is a small yatra organized by me. This may be not even 2,000 because of various reasons. Some children have exams and all. I'm thinking we will reach a figure of max 500. It's anything between 300 to 500 is our yatra. So I was initially feeling I'll have to break into many pieces and all. I think people have generally booked those who want to book, but some people are feeling financial pain. I do appreciate. So I did call up yesterday. They said there are dormitories and dormitory kind accommodations. I said, okay. So I'll make some, see, for me it is cost-wise. Okay, I can create something situation even more effective. Okay? Okay, Rajiv ji, Sundur ji, it's fine.
Yeah, fine, sir.
Okay, any from my side, anything I can do, I am ready. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Trying to see that it is as comfortable as possible and as less crowded as possible. The rooms, generally, I'll try to keep only 2 people in a room. Family, maybe 3, whatever they want, so that the corona thing is good, there's no crowding. And also, many people in a room, the bathroom becomes tight, you have to wait in a queue. So that way I'm keeping. But there are public bathrooms also. Some rooms are with public. Try to do 111 level down. And we are not ready for heavy austerity now, correct? So therefore, all kind of facilities. It's an international guest house. So don't worry about quality. It will all be. It's an international. World over people are coming and staying there. But yatra always be ready for some austerity. Yeah, yatra means we are walking. Arey, bahut dhoop hai. This is not the criteria. You know what happens when you go for Navadi Mandal Parikrama? We reach a temple. And there are 1,500, 2,000 every team. We are having kirtan and so in ecstasy we are reaching. Then sannyasis, some senior devotees come and sit down. I have all that management to be done now. After 15, I'll freeze this and I'll work on the organizing after. They will come and they'll explain about that pastime there. And it's very amazing, sweet devotee. They explain. And where are we sitting? On the road. And we have a newspaper with us. Spread it, sit there. There's no other, not that a chair for you, gaddi for you, nothing. That's how the yatra is conducted. Okay, but for you, I'm trying to make, because you're all new to, most of you are very new, making good arrangements. So we are not used to heavy austerities, make it comfortable. Okay? Okay? Okay.
Okay.
So do just type Mayapur on the net and watch various videos of Mayapur. Take up your mind, make a decision. First thing, buy the tickets, because tickets are like this going up now. I finished my ticket from here to Mayapur 9.5. Now it is 12. It's going up. So rooms will be available for me because I have taken a building. The cost of ticket will shoot up, and trains will not be available. Trains will be waiting list are not available because not all trains are running now. Even now, there is a direct train from Mangalore to Kolkata. It's not running. It just goes all the way down. So trains, not all trains are running. Please explore, okay? And any help I can do, let me know. You are a team traveling from somewhere to somewhere. You want prasadam in between, just let me know. Something I can do, I'll try. All of my colleagues, I'll call some temples. Yaar, mera 10 log hai to prasad de sakte hai. I'll try. If I cannot, you can also manage back end. Try. There is a team going from here, from Bangalore, via Bangalore. Okay? Those who are joining the team, let me know. Anything help you know, I'll try. Okay? And it's cooperative. You know, you can also make certain things which don't spoil. Train journey will be cheaper to go, easy to cancel also. That's second advantage. But tickets are limited and it takes a little bit of time. 1 day extra going, 1 day extra coming. Hare Krishna, Pran Chaitanya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Well, thank you, Prabhuji, for your Dhyanki Mataji. Very nice presentation. He is a great help to us. And he speaks so nicely. I feel so inspired to add some points to it. Hai Chalo. Okay. So we close now, Mataji.
Yeah, we close, Sir Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Panchakalpataruvacha kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.